We've got Jason Alexander calling in from Northwest Arkansas, Bentonville area. Jason is a Bakersfield, Kern County homegrown boy who decided, like I did, that we love this place, and we do. We still got family, loved ones there, but we got to get our families to God's country, like Bakersfield used to be more of. And Jason, you on there with me?
I'm here.
Awesome. So how long you been out there in Bentonville, Arkansas now?
So I've been out here just over 2 years. And, you know, it's funny, you were just talking about all the issues with California. We all kind of know about it and how perpetuating everything's becoming. And it's just crazy how you get outside of a place like that and you come to a place like this, and it is just night and day difference. Seeing a city that is building parks, just structure after structure, new homes everywhere, zero crime. You're kind of taken back that it's this easy and it's this possible. And unfortunately, I think a lot of folks we're looking for that. I mean, they're really looking for that, but they're stuck having to continuously pay, the taxes and the crime and everything that's associated with a lot of California, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have the belief that, if you go back 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, the majority of people coming from California to red states were doing so for financial reasons. Whereas today, especially guys in our age group, family men with young kids in school, we're coming for cultural reasons despite the financial costs of it. Would you agree with that? Yeah.
I mean, it's once again, it's black and white as far as, or night and day as far as, this is a red state, very conservative. I mean, there's a church on every corner, and it really makes a difference in the values in the small town feel, even though our Northwest Arkansas area is absolutely exploding. And we've also got multiple Fortune 500 companies here. So it really does, have this bigger presence, but there's still the small town feel that's not going away. And I think it's because the red stateness, you may want to say. Yeah. So,
yeah,
I mean, for us,
that's great. I love that you pointed out the churches because to me too, I try to get to, hey, what's the source of all this goodness? If I had to point to one thing, the way I say it is rush hour traffic is on Sunday mornings. Like everybody's going to church. And I think we see the fruits of that.
Absolutely. And, just seeing the energy and the people and all the positive things that are going on here. I mean, I love it or hate it. We're very unique here in Northwest Arkansas as far as this is where Walmart started. So it is really unique. We're not like a lot of other areas. And once again, love it or hate, Walmart, the money that's been able to put into communities like this is phenomenal. And they're growing. I mean, they're building a 360-acre new facility, and they're doing this within like 2 years. Whereas, step back into California, we can't get a skate park built in 3 or 4 years. So it's just a lot less red tape, a lot more American capitalism working and good values at its backbone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got the similar testimony. Like I picked this town because it had a classical school and for other reasons. And the classical school that we picked, it's like a God thing. They are buying it. They don't have a building. So they actually just got land, 30 acres, and they're building a school. It's going to take them less than a year to put it all together. And the God thing is, it's actually right behind my house, the house I bought. So I've talked to the board. I've got them about halfway convinced to put a gate in the backyard for me so I could just walk my daughter through the school there.
See, and touching on school, like when COVID hit, we went to homeschool at that time. And so we've been doing homeschool for about 2.5 years. And we also saw some things kind of shift and whatnot within California with homeschoolers that we didn't really align with ourselves. And so that's also why we started looking in other areas. Arkansas is really attractive when it comes to homeschooling. And this is just for homeschoolers out there. I mean, the school systems are phenomenal here, but if you're a homeschooler as well, there's a lot of different unique co-ops that are within the homeschooling system, which is really attractive. And the state is really hands-off, which is really what a lot of homeschoolers want. That's kind of the idea. And so that's been really attractive. We were a part of that for all of last year, and then we did make the decision to go to public school this year. And I felt very confident with the public school that we have here. It feels right. The energy is good. It still says, "In God we trust" on the wall. There's a lot of values that are at the forefront of that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because similar here as well. Even here, though, with Texas schools, which are night and day compared to what's going on in California, I mean, they literally have a sign at the high school saying staff is armed. But there's still, you can see some of the movement where it's getting liberal. Sure, they're 20 years behind where we were at. So there's like classical conversations is a classical homeschooling. There's all kinds of things. I, of course, am a big believer in classical education in person, so I've got my daughter there. But yeah, I would argue that you have the best governor in the United States of America. Although DeSantis is great, and I'm pretty proud of my governor, Abbott, right now for sticking up to the U.S. government, the Supreme Court on the border. But you really got one that's done a lot to protect the students out there. So, yeah, you're going to have your kids in public school. Arkansas is a good place to be.
Yeah, I'd say our governor is one of the top three, if not the best. I mean, I will say South Dakota, Kristi Noem, she's a phenomenal governor. Mm-hmm. But our governor, she's one of the very few that have drawn a line in the sand as far as, and we're going to just go right on into this, but it draws a line in the sand as far as, selling land to China, or companies that are involved in the communist China as far as buying our land. And that was something that just came up here recently. And when that happened, and she drew a line in the sand and said, we will not, be a part of that. That's really sends a message as far as taking care of the state, taking care of the people, and not having that involvement within what we take pride in, which is our land.
Absolutely. So before we end up going to a commercial break here in a couple minutes, let's just jump real quick. I looking into your market, you've got 1,283 active listings. I think you got a population of around 500,000 people, if I recall correctly. Your values, which you're an area I've been bragging about that never dropped, that they continued to grow. Well, they've actually dropped from May 2023. They're at 340,000 median, and they're down to 295 right now. So it is actually just barely impacting you guys. And now that the rates dropped, I suspect it's going to jump back up again. Is it feeling like it's picking up like we're feeling in Texas and California?
Well, so we've got a couple of unique things. One, we do have a winter out here. And so it does kind of slow down. You do have that rhythm. Two, we are very unique as far as, once again, having the Fortune 500 companies in Northwest Arkansas, like Walmart, like J.B. Hunt, like Tyson. And so this kind of creates a bubble of an economy here. And so that's why you're not going to see too much of that fluctuation. Whereas, say markets like Phoenix, other areas are going to see more of a fluctuation. Boots on the ground kind of market that I'm seeing is definitely people are still interested. There's a lot of new construction here. I want to quote about 27% is new construction. And so, we're building, which is good. You have a lot of people coming in from out of the area, out of the state, finding more about the area. And typically they're wanting new construction. There's an abundance of that. So I would say, it's pretty active. I think there's a lot of folks sitting on the sidelines waiting for this weather to get a little bit better, waiting for the rates to just drop just maybe a skosh, and they're going to be jumping on it. A lot of conversations happening. More people wanting to list in order to stay in the area and upgrade. Whereas if last year they were going to do that, it was definitely going to cost them a little bit more with the interest rate hike. So hopefully they're going to find a happy medium here in the next 30 or 60 days to where they can make a transition this year. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, sir. Hey, I appreciate you, brother, and we'll be talking soon. You take care.